Your daily choices create your habits. These habits set your destiny. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes a day, make that a habit. How long will it take you to master the charts? As long as it takes. And you know what? Once you master them, the world is your oyster. You don't have to worry about how long it took. You just have to start putting the time in now. If you say, I'm too busy, I'll do it in 6 months, then your success is 6 months beyond where it should have been. Make time. You make time for the things that you deem important. Is your financial security, your financial future, your ability to control your world and your destiny worth 10 to 15 minutes a day? You're not even shelling out any money, but you are devoting the most important thing you have the least of, and that is time. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are up, bonds and gold down, Bitcoin rebounding some. If we look at the S&P 500, where it is right now, we see it sliding sideways in a channel, didn't have enough energy on the half-day chart to push through. We're still in the green on the STC, but we're of course not trading up because we're below the 200 EMA. That's just a rule we have. The 2-day chart is pushed right up to it. We can see where the candle wicks have pushed through it, but not the candle sticks. The wicks, not the sticks. Is it going to push on through? Not yet. We'll wait and see. Is everything just gathering for a rocket down? I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can tell you that as far as the weekly goes, it's still negative on the STC, whereas the half-day and the 2-day are green. What we see as far as price, we've not reached the high of last week on a green candle, and so far, just the first day into a 5-day candle. Last week's candle, of course, because the holiday was 4 days, but we see we're not reaching the high that was reached last weekend. The candle's smaller, but we'll see as the week develops. Maybe stocks will just take off and we'll have some great opportunities to the upside, but that has not happened yet. So wait, watch, and see. When you see these channels develop, what typically happens? Well, things are going to bounce either up or down at some point. Price will explode out of here. Now that it's really just sort of just sliding along sideways, let's see which way it goes. We do notice the STC is at the top. Can it go higher? Sure it can, but it can also rocket over and hammer down. And have we seen that happen before? Yeah, we don't have to go too far back to see some nice down trades when things pushed through the 200 EMA heading down. So we'll wait, watch, and see. We'll let the charts lead us. We don't have to worry which direction it goes because, my friends, we can trade either one, can't we? Let's look at the NASDAQ 100 on the half-day chart. A little bit of a channel there. STC is positive below the 200 EMA today. It is green like the S&P, and again, we, as far as this latest candle, not reaching the higher high yet, but we have 4 green candles. Again, the size on them does appear to be reducing, although the STC is green now. The weekly, again, not reaching a higher high there. We are above the 200 EMA on the weekly. It is still red on the STC. So something's going to happen in stocks. We'll see which way it goes. It's going to bound up or bound down. I'm ready to go either way. Market's going to tell me what to do. What about bonds? Where are they? Well, you can see we're in a short trade on bonds right now. It's been okay to us. That could end tomorrow, but we set things up with our STC when it crossed over going down. Now, when I see things go from green to red with a nice strong down move starting and the STC flip over immediately, my friends, I don't wait on those. I don't wait on those. Those are beautiful. When I see that happen, I realize there's enough movement, enough momentum, probably to continue it on for some time to give me a chance to capture something. So I jumped in on that one, hoping to gather somewhere around 2.67%. Things are moving down. I can show you what I've done here when it comes to TBF. This is the inverse fund for 20-year bonds. So yes, You can actually make money when bonds go down, just like with the S&P 500 with SH, just like the NASDAQ 100 with PSQ. Those offer us possibilities of shorting. Now, as we always say, in fact, I'll put the training at the end of today's video on inverse funds. There are potential downsides to them. You know, if it goes up 2% one day and then down 2% the next day, you're not at the same point. Why is that? Because it reprices at the new higher level, and when it drops 2%, it actually goes down more than it went up. Think about the math there. And there are higher fees, substantially higher. But again, if you own it for the short term, that's not going to kill you, but you do have to know what you're doing. How do you know what you're doing? You practice trade these again and again and again. And then when you start getting good, look, you could have about 5 shares for $100. If you lost 5% of $100, that's $5 if you fractionally traded this. So what does that mean? When you start getting good with the paper trading, with the practice trading, you can switch over and put $100 in. Risk $5, $10, $100 even. What do you lose? At the most $100. It's not $100,000. But the lessons you learn by doing that with fractional trading is you end up learning the things that really count. How to jump into a trade, how to jump out of a trade, how to set a good till canceled sell order, how to set a trailing stop, all those kinds of things. And by the way, great training for you at the end of today's video on trailing stops. I'm going to put that on here for you. I think you'll get a lot out of it about how to use the ATR to set a trailing stop. So I'm going to have 2 things for you: inverse funds and trailing stops. Now, let's keep pushing through these charts. I've shown you what I'm up to on TBF. I do want to show you where things are with the rest. We see we're red on the half day. We are green on the 2-day, but we do have accelerating down candles there, which is nice. And of course, overall, we are red with going into the second week of down movement on the weekly. So as far as our success multiplier formula goes, we are at an 11, not a 15 because of that 2-day. But things are going in the right direction. That is where we are. Let's move on from bonds to gold. Gold down for the day, 0.44% is what it appears. And we've got 2 days of down movement in gold. That STC hasn't rotated over yet. Gold has knocked up again on that 200 EMA and fallen back off. You guys know we had that nice down trade in gold, capturing 2.89% in a down gold trade, and we will continue to watch and see if we have things flip over for us. Hasn't happened yet. We are green on the STC on the half day. We are negative on the 2-day. We can see where things bounced off the 2-day, trying to penetrate that 200 EMA, and then went up and really sideways for the last few days. And what about the weekly? STC is, of course, negative on the 2-day still and negative on the weekly. So again, what are we waiting for to have a 15 on the success multiplier formula? The STC to go negative on the half day, which will signal the potential for jumping into a down trade on gold. Now, is there an inverse gold fund? There is. There are a couple. DGZ is one. The problem is, you've heard me say this before, it's not liquid. The bid and the ask are way too far apart. So I don't look at that. I look at puts if I want to short gold. Now, what do you know about puts? What do you know about calls? What do you know about options? Well, consider becoming a Patreon supporter, because the first thing you get in that initial package of goodies is a 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. By the way, Patreon members, go ahead and be getting your questions in. We have our live Patreon Q&A this Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Again, we look forward to having all of our Patreon members. You're not a Patreon member and want to participate, become one. There is still time. Also, go ahead and text me the ETFs and stocks you'd like me to help you backtrack for practice trading. That is where we are on gold. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin. First on Bitcoin, I'm going to start off and show you where we are on the weekly on Bitcoin. Now, this is the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. This is not the ETF that we like to trade. I just want to show you where Bitcoin is overall. You can see where it's gone down, sideways, down. This is the weekly hovering above the 200 EMA. Hasn't penetrated that yet, which is a good sign. STC had gone green a little bit and then went back red, has been red as things have drifted down over the last few weeks. We look at the 2-day. It penetrated, and it, of course, has been sliding sideways, getting ready to break at some point. We can expect that to happen. Hasn't happened yet, but that is where things are. And of course, when we look at what's up with the half day, we're going to switch over to our ETF, our Bitcoin future ETF. What do we see going on there? Well, let me suck things in a little bit for you. I'm trying to find where my 200 EMA went off to. Come on, baby. It was here before. Oh, I didn't switch over to didn't go to the half day. There we go. And you can see this sideways slide where we are below the 200 EMA. Let me stretch this out a little bit. I tightened it up too much. You can see where this sideways slide was going. Had a bump up, then a travel down, and a bump up again. We look at our STC. We've talked about the inaccuracies of that. Why? Because of this sideways slide. What are we waiting for in Bitcoin? We're waiting for things to catch fire and really start moving up. We want to see Bitcoin penetrate the 200 EMA. Of course, we want to see the 2-day, which is green, really start moving up. And I'll switch back over to the 24-hour a day chart. Want it to penetrate the 2-day 200 EMA, which is, of course, 400 days of movement. And we want to see things catch on fire on the weekly chart. We want to see the STC rotate over to green and see things just start spiking up. When we see that occurring, we're going to get excited about Bitcoin and look to jump into that and ride that to victory. At some point, Bitcoin will turn around. I'm sure it will. It has again and again and again. Hell, it may go down further. It may go down for many more months. Who knows? We'll be standing by because there are lots of other things to trade in the meantime. But when it turns around, we'll be here. That's where we are, folks. It's always a pleasure to have you. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.